Okay, today we're going to define a few literary terms for you. Dramatic irony. That's how I began my very first LitReel last summer, a discussion of dramatic irony. But it recently occurred to me that I never explained what the other kinds of irony are, and that's a shame because there's a lot of people who get that wrong. Let's do this. When I first started teaching, I liked to use Alanis Morissette's song Ironic to demonstrate what irony is. None of the kids get that reference anymore because I'm a million years old. But I still love using that song as an example because I cannot think of a better piece of songwriting to explain all the things that irony is not. Situational irony, which is what we usually mean when we just call something ironic, is one of the most common rhetorical devices there is. We use it all the time, but there are so many people who misunderstand what irony actually is. They use it to mean a coincidence. It's not. They use it to refer to misfortune. It's not. They use it to refer to things that are the opposite of each other. It's not. Irony is what happens when reality directly contradicts your expectations. When you have a good reason to expect one thing to be true, but reality turns out to be something else. For example, a doctor who smokes would be ironic, because you would expect a doctor to know better. A fire station that burns to the ground would be ironic, because you would think the firefighters would be able to prevent it before it happens. A chef who doesn't like food, a librarian who doesn't like books, an insurance company executive with a soul. These would all be ironic. But rain on your wedding day? Even rain on your wedding day? There's nothing ironic about that. There's no reason to expect the rain to stop just because you're getting married that day, especially if you happen to live in Louisiana. Maybe, just maybe, if you're so afraid of rain on your wedding day that you decide to have your wedding way out in the middle of the desert, and you take out an atlas and you find the day that has the lowest average rainfall of the entire year, and you schedule your wedding on that day specifically just to make sure that it doesn't rain. And then all of a sudden there's a freak rainfall, the kind that only happens once every 100 years and it ruins your wedding, that would be ironic. Otherwise, you've just got crappy luck. Truly, the most ironic thing about that song is how little of it is actually ironic. Now, there's also verbal irony. That's when you say one thing, but you mean something else. Sarcasm, obviously, is the most obvious form of this. And verbal irony doesn't necessarily have to be used for humor, but humor is always about subverting expectations, so verbal irony frequently is very funny. One night I shot an elephant in my pajamas. What he was doing in my pajamas, I'll never know. Verbal irony. Funny because you thought he meant that he was wearing his pajamas when he shot the elephant, but in reality, the elephant was the one wearing the pajamas. And now it's not funny because I explained the joke. And also because shooting elephants isn't as funny as it was in 1930. So the next time you're about to call something ironic, do a little checklist. Do I mean it's a coincidence? Do I mean it's unfortunate? Do I mean it's funny? That's not enough to call it irony. It's only irony if it subverts your expectations. For example, I don't expect anybody watching this video to rush on over to Amazon and purchase dozens of copies of my books to give to their family and friends. Which would make it awful ironic if you did.